Hello Year 10! Not that you'd know this, but this is my third attempt at recording this video. I got all the way through both times last time and then somehow it just completely disappeared off the face of this earth. So I'm going to do a quick introduction as I've done already, which is hello, hope you're well. Isn't it nice to have the weather a little bit cooler? Let's hope the sun comes back again soon. And let's hope you guys are alright in all seriousness. I'm sort of just about surviving with my 2-year-old son shouting and screaming downstairs, watching Monsters University. Fortunately, my wife's come home, which means I can set some work for you. So here we go. Things to be aware of before we get going with this lesson. The reason I do these is to try and support you through the lesson and make it a little bit more like a real lesson in the classroom. We'll do activities bit by bit by bit. When doing this lesson, it's so important that when I tell you to pause this video, that you pause the video, because I'm going to give you 3 activities today, and after I've told you about each one, I want you to stop the video and actually do the activity then, because I'm going to explain it and then you do it, which is the best way of doing a lesson. You wouldn't go into one of my lessons normally, and I'd explain every single activity during the lesson and then say, right, off you go for the next hour, and it won't be an hour for this one, so don't worry. Other thing to make you aware of first, though, is you should have watched the other video of mine first before doing this one. The other video being the one about Act 1 Scene 2 of Macbeth, the one with the captain talking to King Duncan about Macbeth. You needed to watch that and do the 5 questions because this lesson relies on you having watched that one first. So without any further ado, here we go. I'll explain this activity and then it'll be over to you to pause the video. So activity number 1 is, which of these is the most effective film poster for Macbeth and why? So I'm going to ask you to write down your thoughts for 2 minutes very shortly. When it says most effective, that means which one is the poster which is most like a poster for Macbeth should be. Which one does the best job at being a Macbeth film poster? How you're going to know that is by having watched the animated tales, that 30-minute cartoon version of Macbeth, deciding what is Macbeth about. Violence, murder, death, killing, supernatural, and then seeing which one does it. So here you go. Decide now. I'm going to ask you to pause this video and write down which one is the most effective poster and why. Pause. And that's me pausing as well. Unpause as you have. Right, moving on then. Activities coming up. Title for your page, Act 1 Scene 2. Keep all of these notes in order and safe somewhere. Don't just jumble them or chuck them. File them. So put all your Act 1s first and then put each new one behind it, and then you'll build up a copy of the play like you did for Christmas Carol. We went through it in order, and in your books all the notes are in a nice neat order. So that's really important. Task number 2, I'm going to ask you to draw your version of Macbeth with room for adding quotes. This is the sort of thing we've done before. I know some of you hate it, but do something. But I'd like to have a go, like I did as well, just so you didn't miss out. I didn't have a whiteboard, so I did it on paper for you. There's my terrible Macbeth holding a sword, and that is meant to be a shield in his other hand. He's meant to be wearing armour there. But the title I've given mine is the title I want you to give yours. Now, before you pause this video to have a go at the drawing, the other thing which is really important here is the quotes I'm about to show you. The reason we're doing this drawing is, like we did with Scrooge, who changes from the beginning to the end, Macbeth absolutely goes on that same journey of being a very different person from start to end. However, he's almost the opposite of Scrooge, the antithesis of Scrooge, in that Macbeth goes from good to bad, whereas Scrooge goes from bad to good. So these quotes there are all taken from Act 1 Scene 2. So I want you to draw your Macbeth, around him, next to him, have your quotes. Pause the video now. Right. And presuming you've done that, remember I want a photo of all of these things so I can see how your notes are coming on at the end of this lesson. So that's the first 2 activities done. Now we move on to the final one. Task number 3, you are now going to explode the quotes below, and we're going to do the first one together. So this is what we've done in class before. Normally what I've done, like with Christmas Carol, is I'll write the quote on the board, you write it into your books, and then we do the arrows coming off, unpicking the writer's language choices within it. So what we're going to need to do, this is the first quote. It's for brave Macbeth, well he deserved that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel which smoked with bloody execution. What you're going to need to do is pause this video now and then we'll come back and do the analysis together. So you're writing that quote with room around it. Pause. Okay. Now, because I've had to shoot this video twice, rather than retype this a third time, what I've got is I've done my notes for it already. So I've chunked it down into 3 bits. Now, don't worry about this bit down at the bottom for a minute. The point I wanted to make, which is a really important point, is when we explode a quote, we're basically choosing the things which leap out at you, the things which jump out as really important. So when we read the quote for brave Macbeth, well he deserved that name, disdaining fortune, with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution. The bits in the 3 colours you can see there, for me, are the 3 things which leap out about that quote. For a quote that long, 3 things is a good thing to aim for. So I will get you to pause once I've read through my notes, just to add yours and annotate your quote. So the first bit in yellow then, for brave Macbeth. So let's think about it. What I've put here is, it suggests, keyword to use there. That's one of those words off my wall in my classroom, which we use when we're analysing. This suggests to us that he's going to be a strong and loyal character, as he has shown what a good soldier is. Brave Macbeth. He's been brave. So, like I say, loyal character. So pause this video now and write those things down. Pause. Unpause. Right. Then we move on to this bit with brandished steel. What does that mean? To steel in this sense is his sword, so it's been described as steel, and it's brandished. So he's not holding his sword like this, like this. He's brandishing his sword. It's strong, it's powerful, it's above his head. He's showing it off. Think about what that shows us about this character. And this is what I've got for you to copy down in a minute. This illustrates, there's a different one. This illustrates how confident Macbeth is in battle, and again shows how powerful he is. The word steel has strong and unbreakable connotations. Good word to be using is connotations, like what it makes you think of. So steel, for me, makes me think of strong and unbreakable. The other thing which you could go on to say, which would gain you amazing marks, which you could write down in a minute if you're not going to be lazy, please, is the fact that it's ironic. Strong and unbreakable are actually 2 things that Macbeth is not by the end of this play. So I'd say it's almost ironic that his sword is steel, is described as unbreakable and strong, because Macbeth goes on to be broken and also isn't strong. He's very weak and vulnerable because he gives in to the witches. So yeah, he's physically strong, but he's not characteristically strong. So anyway, pause this now and have a go at annotating that one. Pause. And unpause. Final bit then is smoked with bloody execution. What did? The sword. He's been fighting with it so much that it's smoked with bloody execution. So what do we mean by that? Well, I say that the word bloody has connotations of battle, but also of death and killing, making it a negative adjective, which is a good word because bloody is describing execution. Then I move on. The word execution suggests that Macbeth is violent, but he's committing violence for the king and is serving him. I'm going to add one more bit. However, it could foreshadow the evil he goes on to commit later in the play. Just showing you that with work, it's never ever perfect, like what I've just done there. Adds, and that makes that even stronger because I've got the word foreshadow in there. Shows I'm thinking about the structure. And that, Year 10, is it from me. If I just double back to the PowerPoint slide there and just click that button there, what we've got then is that one there. So what do I want you to do? Well, it's explode it. Let me talk you through it quickly first. Nor bade farewell to him, wouldn't bother with that, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps. Where your clothes are joined together, that is a seam. To unseam is to rip something apart, which is a really violent action. So what you've going on here is something really violent as well. The violent action of killing the soldier that he's facing on the battlefield. And he unseams him from the stomach belly button all the way up to his chaps. So again, that's really violent. He doesn't need to do that, but it almost shows bloodthirstiness is a good word I would use there, to be bloodthirsty, which is all one word. And finally, that bit, he fixed his head on our battlements. So he cuts off this soldier's head and puts it on the door, the gateway to their castle, and so everybody can see it. So he's almost showing off his killing prowess, which is a great word, which means sort of like your ability to kill. So that's what I would say about those ones. So that is the lesson done from me. I have nothing more to add other than thank you for watching this video all the way through. Send me a photo of your notes. I'm not going to make you do this final activity here unless you particularly want to, deciding whether you change your mind about the film poster. But well done for watching this all the way through. I wish